I picked up the camera, I started filming stuff. I felt that I was really good at filming, because I had a sense of photography, and I would make great angles, and I learned all that online, obviously. And then I would apply it, and I would get some great results. And then I thought, why not, when I started editing, I felt that my editing skills were also really good because of my musical ability. And my timing would be great, and my editing would look really nice because of the time, how I would edit things together, and how I would put together the edit of a song. So that sort of enabled me to start. I sort of started doing professional work then, and people would ask me to do their music videos, and they would ask me to do like corporate documentaries and whatnot. But then obviously I didn't shoot all that myself. I would get professional DPs to do that stuff. And because I was already working on a lot of productions, and I was already well aware of some of the great DPs and production crews that were working on my music projects in that time. So those are the people I was in touch with. So I was able to get them involved in my projects. And that's how my sort of video production started. So for me, it was a diversification as a company also. And my company, Dream Station, was primarily an audio production facility, but then it branched out and we started doing video projects. And then the big break started happening, and I started doing commercials for big brands. And I did 1 or 2 commercials, and I felt that, this is something I'm really good at and I should pursue it. But then commercials weren't really, something that I wanted to do on a long-term basis.
Right.
It was because, in commercials, what happens is that you usually get a storyboard or
you do what they tell you to do. You do what they tell you
exactly.
to do.
So it's not very creative what you're trying to do. I mean, you try to put your own sort of stuff in it, but it's not something that you can own as a creative piece. And then, I got really interested in making a film. I was this was about 8 years back in 2012. I produced a TV show, which actually was was a music program. And I shot that in India, some of it in India and some of it in Pakistan. It was going to be a global show. And unfortunately, it got plagiarized. And I also have a lawsuit going on against, the people who, plagiarized my concept. But then I started working on, ideas for a film. And ever since, I was looking for a compelling story, a script that I could work on. And I already found a script. I found a story to work on. And then I got somebody to write a script for me. And this was, I'll tell you, right before COVID happened. We started working on a script. And the script was finished. And then I thought this was going to require a lot of funding to produce, because, the script was very challenging. And I thought that, we would need a lot of funds to produce that film. So then I thought, why not make a smaller film? And this is how Karma started. So basically, initially, what happened was that I thought I'd make I saw films like Phone Booth, and I saw films like, films which were contained in an environment, which were not like Reservoir Dogs. I was always a Tarantino fan. So when I saw his films, I was like, he doesn't really, the later stuff that he's done is obviously huge productions. But when you see his earlier stuff, before Pulp Fiction, also Pulp Fiction was not a very high budget film, but he had great actors in them.
Yeah.
So I thought, making a film which is, based more on acting would be something easier to do, and which is contained in an environment. And I always wanted to do a Karachi-based film. And we all know that, we've seen our share of various kinds of crimes that happened around the city. And so there was this story of my friend who got kidnapped in his car. And that really sort of triggered my, it gave me an idea to sort of do a movie around that. Why not do a movie around a car kidnapping? And that's how, Karma, the basis of Karma was this initial idea, this concept. And I gave this concept to my, so basically my writer Fawad Hai, we were working on a lot of content during that time, and we were doing a lot of YouTube content together. So I asked him that, if he could write something based on this concept. And this was his first film script. He had written script for, YouTube projects that we were doing. But writing a film script is a different story. So he said, yeah, it's a great concept. Let's start writing and let's see how it goes. He's also a huge Tarantino fan, a huge movie buff. And, we had the same sort of, we were in the same school. So we have the same sort of vision in terms of filmmaking and storytelling. So we sort of started the work, and he wrote the script for the film. And it took him like about 3 to 4 months to put it together. And then when we read the script, we were like completely blown away because there was so much happening in that film. And then, my initial idea of containing it in a car was also, gone, because he had put so much stuff in it. I was like, it's because obviously he was just open to ideas, and he was just writing creative stuff, not thinking how much it would, cost to produce it.
Yes.
So then when the script came together, we were like, we don't want to make any compromises. We should actually film it the way it's written. It was so good, so intriguing, so, in terms of the twists and turns, and there's so much happening in that script that we were like,
we've seen the trailer and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got to that point, because I'm as much as I'm enjoying this, I don't want to lose focus on some of our other questions and the timing. So I'm going to quickly hand over to Fariha. But thank you so much for that, sharing that with us. And it was good to see that journey and how you got to Karma. So Fariha, over to you.
Thank you, Talat and Kashan. So that's fantastic. And also, I think the passion is just coming out. So we can probably listen to the whole thing, and it's just amazing. But I think we're just going to switch sort of gears here and talk about the career, because and I'm glad you explained your career journey, because it's a very unconventional career. Pakistan mein normally logon ke careers jo hote hain, wo chartered accountant, engineering, doctor, very, very different. So, I think and you already touched upon in terms of your own strengths. You mentioned the technical part and how you sort of learned it. There was no formal education. You spoke about perseverance. You spoke about, detail orientation. But tell us, Kev, today, and our viewers, if they want to be a filmmaker, music producer, acting, because you've seen it all, right? What are the competencies and skills that you would recommend that they should really embed?
See, I'll tell you what. So I see a lot of people going to film school these days, and a lot of the kids who are working with us, like a lot of the people who are on our film team were also from film schools, and they're learning this at schools and universities right now. But I always felt that this art is more about passion. It's more passion driven than you can't learn this craft. You have to have it in you. So if you have it in you, a formal education can polish that skill set or that sort of talent, but it can't really you don't really, you can't inculcate that, or you can't create that talent within a person. So anybody who wants to pursue this career has to feel it, has to have the talent for it, has to have the passion for it.
Tasha, sorry, I'm just going to stop you here. But one question, how do you know you have the passion? Because you see, I'll
tell you what. So basically, if you take me, for example, I learned all this just, because of my passion my love for the work. And I did not have any formal education in music or sound engineering or recording or production. And I'll give you an example. This is a really, really, valid example. So when I got in touch with Simon Phillips, who's the drummer for this American band Toto, and he's a very prominent musician in LA. He's a Grammy-nominated musician, and he works with the best of the best out there. He's also a producer, engineer. He's worked with such big names that he's worked with David Gilmour, he's worked with Joe Satriani, he's worked with Whitesnake, he's worked with all the greats. And for me to be able to communicate with him at his level of, at his I was able to work with him in my studio, and we were able to communicate and create stuff the way he would in any studio in LA.